Quality.
Amen.
What is up, quality people? Welcome back to another weekly tea episode. We got, we got everybody today. You can feel the Christmas spirit. Got a new graphic. We got Kenya down in the bottom right-hand corner. And then, of course, Miracle's joining us. But with her mans, Mr. Alan J. Welcome to the show,
Yes, sir.
guys.
Welcome.
Now, before we get into the show, we can't help but notice that you are moving. So, what are you guys up to? What are you guys doing?
Well, we wanted to take a little trip to Orlando, so that's what we're doing today. We are currently in a motor coach, and it is owned by my amazing parents. They are
Oh,
allowing us to tag along on their
Oh, show the people. Show the people a little bit if you can
Oh
show
oh
them.
yeah.
yeah,
Let's take a
it's
tour.
it's
Let's take a tour.
Get
doing
to
it.
it.
See this? Yeah, yeah. This is called
Nice.
glamping.
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 That's the parents
So
right
yeah,
there.
say hi, parents.
Hey.
Well, not you
Hi,
guys.
guys. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Come on, say hey, Josh.
I will. I
Oh,
will.
and congratulations.
Thank you.
Avi.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so we got our first commenter of the day. Shout out to T Mac saying, "All right, bring it on, quality."
Quality.
Thank you for joining us. We got some quality content. How was your week, Kenya?
It was great.
It was great.
Yeah,
Why was it great?
just because of what the next topic we're going to get into, but
Well, the second topic,
or the
not
second
the
topic.
next
Yeah,
topic.
the second topic. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was the cherry
Give
on
up.
top.
Yeah. So she went shopping.
Yeah, I did go shopping.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So first I had to go shopping to solidify something. And then after I go shopping, then she gets to go shopping.
Yeah.
For everything else, actually.
Yeah,
So,
pretty
And
much.
women love shopping.
oh
So,
yeah.
I don't like shopping.
She does it.
I
She's one
don't
of
enjoy it.
she's one of the few women that don't like shopping.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like
you like
it.
online shopping, I guess?
Online shopping's good.
Yeah, she'll just click the button. She'll click buttons.
Like
now.
I'll have my wish list all together, and then when it's time for me to spend what I want to spend, and I'm like, okay, yep, I wanted that. So
Yeah, that's me.
It is wild. Well, if you are watching this particular segment, it is now Christmas. So, Merry Christmas to you. And we want to get into what the true meaning of Christmas really is, because it is the season of giving, but oftentimes people are more so looking forward to what they're going to receive rather than what they're going to give, or they'll give out of obligation because it's like, oh, if this person's going to give me a gift, I have to, give this gift back. But we never should lose sight of, why Christmas in the holiday season exists in the first place. And I think John 3:16 gives us a beautiful outlook on what this all means. It says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only son, so that everyone who believes in him may not perish, but may have eternal
Amen.
life." And that is crucial because on this program, we always teach Christ improvement over self improvement. And what that means is that you are becoming more and more the nature of Christ every single day. Not that you are, upholding all of these religious propositions and trying to be an upstanding citizen to whatever sect of Christianity that you may be a part of, which not saying that you shouldn't be a part of particular sects, but the goal of a Christian is to become more of the nature of Christ and ultimately become unified with the Father. And you see that he gave us this ultimate gift of Jesus, who would go on to give us an even greater gift in his life when he dies for the remissions of our sins. And so to be a Christian is to take on this armor and this heart of servitude and of giving. And it's not that you're giving like these material things. There's no monetary value to the material, or there's no monetary value that you can place on your giving, but it's just being charitable in your nature, being a giving person, giving with a cheerful heart, as that famous Bible verse often talks about. I want to get into the second verse before I hand it over to everybody else's comments. When Jesus is speaking, he's saying there's no one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend. And so Jesus is saying that, hey, look, if you give your life consistent with this theme of giving for your friend, there's no greater love. And as Christians, the big thing is, oh, love everybody. Well, Jesus is showing you, hey, this is how you love. Like, this is the ultimate form of love, is giving, life, giving up your life. And so God gives us Jesus, who he knows is going to ultimately give up his life, which is the ultimate display of love. And so yes, it's great that we get to spend time with family, and it's great that we're going to exchange gifts, but always remember that ultimately this season is about just your heart posture at the end of the day. Like, giving, whether it's, a $1 gift, whether it's something that you made that was thoughtful, or whether it was something that was very expensive. You should all just be giving at the level that you can give and being charitable in that. And so now I'll turn it over to you guys. Let's start with Miracle and Alan. Like, what does Christmas truly mean to you?
Well, I guess that I definitely start off. It means love and redemption. It means hope, and me, that's what love is, to me. And just that bringing that remembrance on. He is the reason for the season, and I would think that he would want us to pay it forward. Meaning not only just giving our money, giving our time, our energy, our effort, our sacrifice. I think that's really important to show the love that was extended to us, and for us to pass that baton to others. And so, if we can be that reflection and show that characteristic that God has given, or Christ has given to us, I think that is what Christmas should be about. Presents and getting things are just a byproduct of our belief in Christ. Like, gifts isn't the only thing; it's
Right.
just a byproduct. And so that's just my little TED talk on that.
No, I really like how
Yeah.
you said that gifts isn't the only thing, and how the gift is actually a representation of the thoughtfulness that you put in to getting that gift for that particular person, or the time that you took to make that particular gift. So it's not always about the gift in and of itself. It's about the process of, the charity and the
Mm-hmm.
heart that went into providing that gift, which is the true meaning. So, like, when going back to the Bible, when God gives us his son, it's not that he gives us his son that's the great thing. It's that he thought so much of us to give us his son for this ultimate purpose that would play itself out, so that we can ultimately be restored back to what we were intended for. And so when you think
Exactly.
of
I
giving,
like
and
that.
yeah, when you think of giving in that way, it's very, very beautiful. And
Mm-hmm.
we also shouldn't go the whole year without, or with a mindset, or without that mindset, because oftentimes we'll just cruise and go through the motions of life. And then when Thanksgiving comes around, oh, now it's time to be thankful. Christmas comes around,
Right.
oh, now it's time to give. This should be something that is constantly on your heart, constantly something that you are striving to become better at, striving to become more charitable, striving to become more, kind, and a person of service and servitude. So, yeah, that was beautiful. All right, Miracle.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I mean, I love this time of year because it is the time where all those values you mentioned are reminded of. But I think oftentimes, well, ultimately, we dismiss where those values came from. Why we're even celebrating those things. And it's like you said, the the gift of Jesus Christ being born in the first place to ultimately make room for what's to come later. That act of love of giving us something so precious is the reason we're even celebrating these values in the first place. And so I love being reminded of this every year, especially because my birthday is the day after Christmas.
That means
Like,
that means
shameless plug.
she gets double of the gifts. So
Yeah,
Not
right.
anymore.
Not
Not
You
anymore.
said
my
not
anymore.
pockets,
anymore. Well, yeah,
my
happy
pockets
birthday.
are hurt.
Happiest of birthdays to Miracle for
Thank
sure.
you. Thank you.
All right, Miss
So
Kenya
yep,
Mac.
it's
Okay. So I would say for me, there's this quote I heard a few, maybe like last year or earlier this year, something like that. And the quote is, "We give gifts because we have been given the greatest gift." And that touches on what you were talking about earlier, when talking about our greatest gift is the salvation through the belief in Christ. And I think if we were all focused on that part, it would reflect in our actions, as what Alan was saying, and just paying it forward in our actions and the thoughtfulness when it comes to gifts. And also, that's just something like to carry out for the rest of our year besides Christmas. And even with Christmas, like people tend to say, like, well, Jesus wasn't even born in Christmas. But I think a good way to look at Christmas is like, even though this probably wasn't the time Jesus was actually born, it's good to just celebrate his birth anyway, celebrate the gift of him anyway, celebrate
Agreed.
salvation anyways, because it's the time that's set aside for us to be able to do it. So rather than harping on the little details that like, oh, this wasn't when he was born, like, okay, well, we still can take the time to celebrate his greatness anyways. So
No, I like that.
I
That was a
like that. I
quality
like
take
that. I like
right
that, Kenya.
there. So, I mean,
Yeah.
exactly.
yeah, I mean, that's the true meaning of Christmas. It's all about giving, but not giving just to receive or giving out of obligation, like I previously mentioned, but it's really about, they always say get in the Christmas spirit,
yeah,
right? Now, that probably means different things to a lot of different people, but for Christians, it should mean that, hey, now this is the prime time where we can really reflect. Like, you set aside time during a church service to worship. You set aside time to give an offering. So you're focused on these different things to do unto the Lord. So now you have this whole season where we need to be focused on, all right, how do we give? What does that look like? And what does that really mean? Because that's how we can grow deeper in Christ and become more unified with God as a whole, is by taking on, of course we're supposed to take on the Holy Spirit, but this is a special time where we can really reflect on, okay, what does this mean and how can I become better as a result? How can I improve in a Christ-like manner, that Christ improvement over that self-improvement, that fleshly improvement? So those are our thoughts. We would love to know your thoughts. Leave them down in the comments section. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Like for the algorithm.
Jerry.
Amen. What is up, quality people? Welcome back to the Weekly Tea. I am your host, Joshua Prophet. I'm joined alongside me is Miss Kenya Mack down in the right-hand corner. And up at the top, right now they are frozen. It's Miracle and Allen, so we're going to work that.
they're
Oh, no,
moving.
they're back.
Moving.
They're back. All right, so they're back. All
We
right,
made it
perfect
work.
timing. Perfect timing. So now we want to get into a great topic. Kenya went shopping.
Yeah, I went shopping.
What did you go
Oh,
shopping for?
I went shopping for my wedding dress.
Yes, Kenya said
okay,
yes
wedding
to
dress.
that dress. So we want to give you
Meet
an
me
update.
at the altar
Yeah.
in your white dress.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But yeah, so she went wedding dress shopping. Let's take a look and see how that worked out
Okay.
for her.
Got Bible study on my roster, cause Jesus was me like pasta. I was a wreck Tuesday, but God, he gave me a new heart posture. Sometimes I say I'm too busy, but he said, child, you just lazy. Remember last week, you didn't focus on me, and you got lost, girl. I said, Lord, you treat me so well. He said, get up and go tell the world for me so they can see I'm the God as well. But I said, I'm afraid they'll hate me. He said, don't worry, you're safe with me. So get up and go and let the world know I do the saving. Say, did you know what? God's in you.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was it. So
You
how
picked
was how
one.
how was that
Yes.
experience?
It was very interesting. It's not like say yes to the dress or anything like that. At least for me, because I kind of knew what I wanted, and even the consultant was like, you're a really good decision maker, and she was like, I'm really easy to work with, and I was like, okay, cool. So, and then also, yeah, I only tried on maybe like 5 dresses, and like the second one was the one that I chose to go back to. I'm leaving.
Sorry.
But yeah, so overall it was really good. It was really easy. And like the place I went to go pick my dress was really quaint and just cute and cottagey kind of. So it was perfect. It was
What?
perfect for what I
Yeah.
wanted.
I definitely got a quick question for you. So, what about the second dress was actually like, hey, this is it? Was it the jewels on?
Fifth dress.
Huh?
The fifth dress.
The fifth dress.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, I
it
thought you
was a
said the
second
second dress.
dress,
Oh, the
but I
second.
tried on
See,
Oh, okay.
dresses. Yeah.
see, I was paying attention.
What was it about it? It was just me, I guess. It was me, like, and I just felt, and I didn't want to take it off, kind of thing. And also,
Okay.
when my mom and Taylor saw it, they were like, "Yeah, that's you." So, yeah.
Oh, I love
And then
that.
I took
Did you
it.
have a budget? Oh,
Yeah, I had a budget, and
okay.
so yeah, so okay, yeah. The really cool thing about this is, okay, so before even buying my dress, of course, like I prayed about it and wanted the Lord to like help me have the right consultant, pick the right place to get my dress, pick the perfect dress for me, all that kind of stuff. So when I got there, my budget was like $3,000, and so when everything got rung up, it was literally like 2,400, like right under my budget. It was perfect. And also the dress was on sale. So I was like, yeah, this is great.
Come on with it. Come
Hallelujah.
on
Yes,
with it.
yes.
So,
Yes.
so for those people, you can find a quality dress, and it doesn't mean that it's anything negative about it being on sale. Because most people want to say, I spent $10,000 on a dress, and then
Yeah,
the
for
marriage
what?
don't even last 37 days.
Right.
Exactly. And I'd
Shots fired.
rather have that money go towards like some investment or a honeymoon or a good trip or something. Like,
Exactly.
No, yeah.
Exactly.
I liked it. I don't know. The only thing I want to know is what the dress looks like, but
yeah, you
I
gotta
can't
wait for
know.
that one,
Okay,
I
well,
gotta
yeah, he
buddy.
wait.
hasn't seen it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
gotta wait. So, do you have any other questions, Miracle?
I thought I did. Did you already have? So you already had an idea of what you wanted the dress to look like, right?
Yeah, I
Did you
already
think
had
you
an
would find it
idea.
in that one spot? Did you think you would find it in that one spot? Like you're pretty confident that you didn't have to go
No.
anywhere else to look for it?
No, there was one point where I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna find like the dress I want, because I was like looking through. She already picked some out for me, and I saw them, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe. And then I was looking through the dresses, and I was like, I mean, maybe they could work. And then the one that I picked, we like added stuff onto it to make it look more like what I wanted. And then I was like, okay, cool. I see it. I see the vision.
Okay.
Oh my
Does
god!
it have to get tailored like how our suits have to get tailored as well?
Yeah, they said I need to do that like 4 months before the wedding. yeah, so I have to go to the
Oh,
seamstress and get it like
okay.
fitted accordingly
Well,
and
see,
stuff like that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why,
So
why
Yeah.
4 months and like why not like I guess now since you already have the dress and everything? Why
because
are they
people
saying 4 months?
expand and contract.
Yeah, I guess that
Okay,
like because
good
some
point.
people might
Okay,
lose weight before their wedding and other people might gain weight before their wedding. So
that makes sense.
Very true. Now you are. What is your goal? Because aren't you going through like a wedge shred or something like that?
yeah, I'm wedge shredding.
So
So
what does that entail?
Hey,
yeah, so pretty much my focus is, like the Drake song. What did they say? You know what I'm talking about.
Which Drake song?
The one he's like, she's I can't remember the lyrics right now, but
I
anyways,
agree.
just trying to like slim my waist and grow my glutes and
Period.
yeah,
Oh, you trying to look
and
like a
lose
Coke
fat.
bottle?
I didn't say that. I was just trying
Ooh,
to.
she
I'm just
trying to
trying to
look
look
like
She
a.
more
said I'm finna.
more fit, you know.
She trying to look like your wife.
Oh,
Yeah,
Come on with
that's
it,
my
snap,
wife.
snap,
Hmm.
baby.
Hmm. I mark my territory. Show them. Look, that's
Yeah.
marking your
Period.
territory right there.
Yes. There we
Uh
go.
huh.
But yeah, I'm wedge shredding, and I've been using Factor mills to help me wedge shred, and that's been going really well. So just like
Come
really
on with it.
focusing on fiber and protein, and yeah, so
Nice.
Hey, you definitely can't go wrong with that or whatever. You definitely gonna reach your goal as long as you stay consistent. Maybe you and Miracle continue going to the gym and Pilates. I know
Whoa, what
Miracle
is
be
that face, Miracle?
growing.
yeah, I
Nah,
was actually
miracle.
thinking about
Yeah,
that. Like
Me
once we come
too.
back in the new year.
Nah, I want to know what that
Yes.
face was about, miracle.
exactly.
Because we took expected pause. So we're
Oh,
gonna
okay,
restart. We're gonna
okay.
restart.
Who took a unexpected ball? Are you talking about you and Kenya? Because I know you ain't talking about me. So
Yes.
because
That's what I'm
I've
talking
been
about.
consistent.
He loves proving points. But
Yeah,
yes.
that's funny.
But
So
yeah,
you had your best friend Taylor and your mom go with you, correct? So tell us how that was having them there.
that was great because Taylor is like she's like me but more stern, I would say. And then my mom, she's like very loud and she's
Shout out to
she's
T-Mac.
very she's very expressive. So like having both of them there, I knew like if my mom said something, Taylor could be like rein her in a little bit, and
So it's a good balance.
yeah, it was a
Okay.
good balance.
That's funny. Now your mom did say that there was no drama like the shows, like the TV shows. So
Yeah, I knew there wasn't going to be drama just because. Well, Josh, all I can tell you. Oh, okay. I knew there wasn't going to be drama just because like Taylor's not a drama kind of person, and it's my mom. So, and I knew both of them were
I'm
going
not
to give me.
loud.
she said, "I'm not
Okay.
loud."
And I just knew like they would both give me their honest feedback. So I knew it was going to be
Awesome.
good.
So
Yeah.
we are grateful that you found the dress and that things are going, according to plan. And we're getting things
Yeah, you
done,
got
moving
one of the most
towards.
stressful parts done already.
Yeah, it feels like it was done without much stress at all.
Yeah, it was great.
Right?
So
Great
yeah.
experience.
I love that.
So yep, we are moving towards the nuptials. So we will keep you updated on all things Pro Mac. But until we get back, check out this video. We'll be right back in the live chat. Fight for the algorithm. Hello, Miss Kenya McIntosh. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
How does it feel to be a Beyonce?
It feels great that I have a fiance.
What was your initial reactions?
Initial reactions was I was just processing the whole thing, like as it was happening, and I was freaking out a little bit because I was like, I know the words to the song, but I couldn't like get the words out.
Yeah, I even messed up on one part. But they're not even gonna know because I'm just gonna put the actual song over it. So
But yeah.
Yeah, show it all. Show that finger. Oh.
Yeah, so initially I was like just in shock, and then after a couple days of thinking back on it and pondering and everything, I'm just like very excited.
Are you ready to be a prophet?
Yeah, like when I was at the bank today to set up my business account, and she was like, "Okay, bye. Have a Merry Christmas." She was like, "Oh, what's your name gonna be?" I was like, "Miss Prophet."
There you go.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Excuse my hair.
Party
people.
with the prophets, baby.
Oh yeah, hashtag Party with the Prophets 2024.
Welcome back to the weekly tea on the Quality Entertainment Network. We got the whole gang in the house today. Got Mr. Alan J, got Miss Miracle, and got Miss Kenya Mack as well. Make sure that because we're on a mission, spread some practical religion. Now we got to get into some, real tea, like what this show is all about, covering some of the trending topics. Now this flashed across my screen and I couldn't believe it. And I saw a couple other people that had, done some commentary on it. Now, this girl went under knife and said that she got a Christian BBL. Bruh. Now, I got a question. Does God want women to have a BBL? I mean, that's just my question. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. We're going to get into this reaction video right here. This is her first video where she set a vlog and was like, I got me a Christian BBL. And then it was part of the whole vlog. Let's see what she had to say.
This whole situation with my surgery and people talking mess to me and stuff like that, mind you, I'm better now. Like, if you want hate comments, if you want to talk your rubbish, feel free. Like, my energy is back. I'm sleeping well. I feel good. I'm wearing clothes. If you want to talk mess, you can do it. But I was just upset when I was fresh out of surgery. You sense. But I feel like me getting this surgery has proved to me, it has kind of shown me how many people don't really know. It's kind of made me realize, people are actually shocked. Now, don't get me wrong. I get there's people that are pro-natural bodies, don't do anything to yourself, don't get veneers, don't do this one, don't do that one. I understand. I'm not personally that person. I'm here for...
What do you guys think about veneer, or not veneers, just about natural bodies versus, fake bodies?
I think that I'm pro-natural body just because... Okay, so there's one point when I was younger where I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm okay with a little nip and tuck, you feel me? But then I started thinking about it and I was like, well, there's always going to be something that you want to fix, and there's always going to be something that you have to go back and tweak, or you have to go back and do this because you're not confident in it, you're not perfect, and you feel like you're not perfect in it. And I was like, well, why not just love what God gave you in the first place, because he created you specifically to look a certain way, to attract a certain person. So why not just bask in what you were given in the first place? So that's my take on natural bodies.
All right, what about y'all up top in that corner?
Yeah, I'm definitely team natural bodies. And it's so weird nowadays because there's such a fine line between what's considered a natural body now. People are saying, well, if you have braces, I mean, that's not natural because your teeth are supposed to be, wherever they were. And I'm like, so I don't know where the line is anymore. But I will say this, that if you...
I know where the line is. The line is... the line is where it crosses the excessive, and we know where the excessive, is. When it comes to natural bodies, of course, I love natural bodies. I think there is a better sense of accomplishment and also determination, and consistency that when you work on it yourself, instead of, hey, I paid $5,000 to go, get this. First of all, a few things are going to happen. One, you're going to improve your health. And like second, you're going to learn something about this word called character. To me, those people who get BBLs when it wasn't even popular, maybe 20 years ago, yes, people got them, but a lot of things are happening. Well, I'm not gonna say a lot of things are happening. Those surgeries are happening because of the vanity.
Mm.
Vanity goes a long way. That like people know, well, I would say marketers and people who do the plastic surgery, they know that, hey, we getting free marketing, and people want it right now because people can't wait for anything. And so I think it's just more than just having a natural body versus this, because some women do need, I'm not gonna lie, some women may have a overly large, breast, and they might want to, nip and tuck it or whatever. So like in some cases, because I've seen one to where there's one lady, her tits were to her knees, and she
Oh,
needed it. You know what
jeez.
I'm saying? So so
So,
you-
so yeah, I hear your point, and the thing about it with me is like, what I guess what's the process behind it, and if it really begins and ends with vanity, then that's probably where the line should be. Because at the end of the day, um, these surgeries are dangerous, and if there's a level of risk involved to where a lot of it is more of a risk than it is to improve yourself, then it sounds like it lands more in the realm of vanity,
Mm.
which is not something you want to dive into, because, like Kenya was saying, it can become sort of an addiction where nothing is enough. Like, then you end up, rest in peace, Michael Jackson, but he lied his whole life and said he had no surgeries. That obviously was not true. We
No,
can
he
see it
tried to
all
tell
over
us he
you.
was white. We saw your baby pictures. Like, what are you talking
yeah,
about?
he was darker than
He
me.
tried to say he had no
Yeah.
work done. To say, and a lot of people, in that mindset of this isn't enough, I need to look a certain way. And it kind of, what's that term? Like, it becomes bimorphic, because now you're trying to reach a standard where not even you can truly comprehend it in your own mind as to
Mm,
what that standard is.
right.
So,
And maybe for the people who don't know what vanity means, it's a overindulging in grooming and beautification. So like that's why I was saying there's a fine line between that. Like you don't have to say, oh well, this is the one specific thing that goes from that vanity part to, hey, I just want to improve. I want to have some type of self improvement on my external. But like what's going on is, like whenever I'm at the airport, I saw this lady and it was horrible. I mean,
They
at
don't
what
look
point are
good.
people going to start? Yeah, I mean, I've
Mm.
seen some of them where they look good, but
Yeah,
I've seen
it goes
some
to
of
the
them
some of them
where,
do
point
look
where
good.
it goes to like you're deforming your body to try to keep up
yes,
with some
yes,
appearance or look so unique, like nobody's ever seen, this sort of proportion. Like men are set to be attracted, maximally attracted to a certain proportion. And then women think that, oh, it's just small waist, big butt. And so then they go crazy. And then the proportions out of whack. And then you look like,
An ant.
yeah, an
Yeah.
ant. You got a
oh y'all
thorax.
said that at the
It's
same time.
crazy.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? So like, so for me,
yeah.
it goes back to what are you serving at the end of the day? Especially since this young lady put that it was supposed to be a Christian BBL. Now we'll get into what she says about that and how she was like it was sarcastic or whatever later. But she's, claiming to be a Christian. It's like, well, what are you serving? Because as a Christian woman, I don't think God per se, cares if you're going to get a little work done or even if you get a BBL. But it's like, what are you serving first? Who are you serving first? It's like God
one
says,
thousand
you
percent.
shouldn't have any other gods before me. But if you're God, if you're doing everything unto the service of, this beauty standard, right? And there's nothing wrong with wanting to, you know, change your body and, look a certain way. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But when it jumps the higher than your servitude for God, and then your character as a woman, like you said, Alan, and your heart as a woman, your femininity as a woman, when your inner beauty isn't representative of who you are, right? That's not the first thing people comment on, but they're commenting on, oh, you're a fine babe. This young lady has a whole thing, like in her Instagram and in her YouTube, it's like fine babes. And it's like, that's not necessarily the mission, right? It's like you can be a beauty YouTuber, but talk about how your inner glow and how God has changed you is
Come on
going
with
to
it.
be a reflection of, the changes that you are even making to your body. Because if you're just making changes to your body because of your carnal desires, well, now that's when you're chasing vanity. And that's when it's going to get dangerous, because these BBLs are very dangerous. You're going under the knife unnecessarily in a lot of cases, and a lot of women don't wake up. And it's really sad
Yeah.
because they're trying to conform to this beauty standard rather than being who they truly are. And I think that's the great sin of it all.
You said a lot by just saying that one word, carnal, because just in this natural state, there is no boundaries when we're operating in that carnal state. There is no boundaries at all, and so that's where you go from, just being okay, well, I just want to shape up a little bit, to I'm going way left field. And so, like, that just had stood out to me when
Right.
once you said carnal, and I just like that in itself, people don't even know that that's a thing. And also that the world and the images that they see has influenced them,
Mm,
so it has created a philosophy. And what a philosophy is a
mm.
pattern that has been set, and that is
Yeah, by the
that
world,
has
but not by
basically
God.
exactly that
Exactly.
has attached itself
Hmm.
to a lot of young women's brain, just like a amoeba. And then it multiplies, and then next thing you know, it's, I mean,
Right.
the whole thing is cancerous for even not just the people who are getting it. It's the younger girls who are 7 years old, who has this phone right in their hand each and every day, and they think that that's the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And it, there is, yeah, there is so
It
much.
goes deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
No,
goes really deep.
before we get back into some more of her video, because Miracle, you mentioned braces, and there's a big difference
Yes.
in improving your general health, because when you have straighter teeth, one, a lot of times you're able to improve your oral health because your teeth are easier to brush. You're able to breathe more easily. You can, that goes towards improving in a general health sense. But when it stretches beyond that, well, then now you're getting into, okay, these are my desires. And there's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
having wants and desires, but there comes a certain point, like Alan was saying, to where those desires they overtake your heart, and those things become more of a focus, more so than your character and your heart, especially as a Christian, which is ultimately what God is looking at. He's not looking at the outward appearance of a person like everybody else. Like, I look at even Kenya, who's my fiance, and it's like, I can only judge her by, a lot of her actions and by what she tells me. But God, in her relationship with him, he can actually look deep within her heart and understand her pure intentions. And this young lady, to her credit, says, well, God knows my intentions. And it's like, well, yes, so I hope they're pure. But since you put it on the internet, we're allowed to, comment and use this as a, teaching moment as well.
Exactly.
And it's not that we're being judgmental. We're trying to stand on what it actually means to be a Christian, because a lot of times, people will say like, oh, you Christians are, soft, you don't stand for anything, y'all are just like all lovey-dovey. And that's why there's been a lot of people, maybe convert to some other religions that are, more strict, like Islam. But when we stand up for something, it's like, oh, y'all are too
Yeah.
judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, catch 22, right? But I think this is a perfect situation where we're not necessarily being, we're kind of correcting in an earnest way. And so we're not trying to condemn this lady and throw insults at her, but we're saying like, hey, let's use this as a teaching moment to rethink how we should be approaching this, because she has a big following. I think she had like 500,000 subscribers, something north of that. And so she is influencing a lot of young women in particular with the videos that she puts out, whether she's doing stuff in jest or not. When you have that platform, you have an ultimate responsibility to use it wisely, especially if you proclaim to be a Christian. So let's get back into more.
Well,
Anything that
There you go ahead. You go.
All right.
makes you look better, feel better, have more confidence, and just enjoy your life. I also get that there are people that look up to me for certain things. I hope there's other things you can find to look up, but if it's that, I should have big back and wide waist. Hold on. That's not what I want you to look up to me for. And whatever choices I make in my
Yeah, because she just wants you to look behind her.
life, I beg, have your disappointments and make a decision. Do you love me, yes or no? Genuinely, all jokes aside, I can tell that even some of you that were like
Like, even in her demeanor right here and delivery, it's like, do you love
It's
me, yes or
giving
no?
fakeness.
It's like me,
Yes.
me. It's like, I
Oh
wanted
my
this, I
gosh.
wanted that. I don't want you to look up to me
Yeah.
for this, but I want you to look up to me for this. And it's just kind of crazy
When
because
you should be pointing to Christ as a Christian.
correct. You
Yes.
should be pointing to Christ, and you should
We
be a
should send this video
representation.
to her. I'm gonna send the video to her and see she see what she say.
I'm sure
I
she's
like
not
that.
going to watch
I
it.
like
And if she
Probably
does, I
not.
don't
I
know.
like
But I pray
I
that
like to
if
kick
she
the
does,
hen's nest.
I pray if she does watch it, it really does like get her thinking. And that she feels like we're
Yes.
not attacking her. And that
Yeah.
she really does like, okay, maybe they have a point. Or maybe I don't agree with this point, but maybe they have a point in this point. So
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just like correction. It's
Yeah.
like your parents will have to come through and correct you on certain things that you maybe had a desire for. Like, I don't know, like running across the street. Like, oh, I'm just having fun. It's like, no, get your butt over here before, a car comes and you don't look both ways and you just run out in the street nilly-willy, and then you're no longer here, or you get seriously injured to the point where it affects your life forever. And so correction
That's
is
what happened to me.
necessary.
I got it.
Did you really?
yeah, remember he told us?
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
dang, yeah.
Yep. I
Yeah,
didn't look.
and
I
so
just went and
you just look.
popped me in the air. I went about 10 feet.
And even if, but see, then you're going to be faced with a decision, because even if, say, she looks at this video, or she's looked at, there's been a lot of other videos that have been made about her. So I know she's seen it, because immediately the day after she posted the vlog that we're looking at, we're going to look at another piece from, when she was basically like, hey, this is blowing up. Everybody's kind of coming for me. This is why I did it, and this is why I titled it this way. It's kind of like an explanation to it all. So, but even if she, hears the criticism, she's going to be faced with a decision. Do I continue to put out this content where it's getting clicks and it's getting views, and all these girls are saying, oh yeah, go, like, and she's listening to only the positive stuff, where she's not taking in the criticism and saying like, hey, okay, some of this criticism is like valid, like maybe I need to change in this way. But if she's so focused on the vanity of it all, and the vanity metrics especially, so vanity is not just
Yes.
beauty. Vanity can be, coveting, all of this attention, essentially, which is what this kind of comes across as. It comes across as like,
Yes.
oh, I am trying to manipulate my body so that I can garner this attention, right? Whether it's, attracting a young man, or whether it's, attracting views for these women who are going to look at me as this standard that they should be looking to. So I become this beauty standard. I'm chasing this beauty standard to become the beauty standard so that I can ultimately get more attention. And so I think that's the cancer of it all in that sense.
disappointed,
I agree
like,
with you
why did she have
1000.
to do this? I hate that she did this. You're still here to support. And honestly, that means a lot to me. I'm being true to myself, and that's not easy. So it feels good. It feels good when I'm accepted and supported and loved and whatever. We might not agree with every choice that I make, but you know, it's not your job. What you can really do is just say, okay, I support this girl. That is all. I'm not asking for too much. With me being a YouTuber and having this platform, I have so many things on my head, you understand? And there's women that have had this surgery that are keeping it a secret, and I see why. But they've DM'd me, messaged me, appreciating what I shared. And also, this post-op journey has been difficult. There's a lot of misinformation, a lot of misguidance. Like, I don't want anyone to go through some of the stuff that I've gone.
Okay, so that was it for the first one. But I mean, ultimately, she's saying like, yeah, I don't want you to make the decisions that I make. So she's kind of acknowledging like, hey, like this maybe isn't like the best decision, but this is something that I really wanted to do, and that you shouldn't necessarily agree with everything that I am doing, but just support me, which doesn't even make any sense. It's like, of
Yeah,
course, if I'm your family member, if I'm somebody who's going to support you, it's like, yeah, I'm always going to support you, but I'm also going to hold you accountable when you're, steering off the path, and try
Because
to correct you in a loving way, of course.
yeah, I was just gonna say yeah, because that's love. Where love corrects you, even when you don't want to be corrected. So
Yeah, absolutely. So she made it.
I
She
think
makes it.
Alan wants to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
I just any time that she talks, I just hear a whole bunch of I mean, it's everything is, in my opinion, when people have that tag of influencer, they think that, I mean, it's like, hey, I'm influencing the world, and yes, they are influencing, but at the same time, they don't know that they are also being influenced as well. And so to me, I guess it kind of comes off like a judger, but like this is just what I'm reading from her. It comes out really unauthentic, or not authentic in a way. It's like it's some of the stuff that she says is kind of counterintuitive. It's like, hey, I got this, and I didn't want, like, I don't want nobody to go through it. But because I've talked to someone who actually had basically got, well, not a BBL, but like a boob job, and they knew all they knew all the issues prior to then. So like it's like she's only telling you after it's done, and after she got past all of the gruesome stuff. She's not telling you that, hey, I gotta have someone to help me into the bathroom, or help me take off my skirt because the stitches got to heal. I got to take amoxicillin and all of that because it can easily catch a infection. Certain ways that I got to certain ways that they got to sit because of the blood vessels that's in the butt and everything. And so there are a lot of things that she's not saying, because it makes it seem like, oh yeah, once you get through it, you'll kind of be all right. It's not what people just think it is. And yes, if you can go through it, I ain't gonna say do it, but at the same time, like, we're gonna do what they're gonna do because they're so focused on the external. And that's something that I've always seen, which is nothing wrong with getting your body right, because I look at it as not even trying to go off on a tangent, but just going to the gym. Everybody is focused on looking good, having the
Mm.
muscles, and yes, it does look good. I like when my body look good and all of that, but I don't see people really focusing on, hey, I need to have a healthy mind
Mm.
before I have all of this. Go ahead.
But that's why you go to the gym. That's why people worked out, because it wasn't just making them fit physically, but it was getting through a hard, intense workout is an emotional battle, is a mental battle.
Yeah, true.
And that's why athletes, when they go through and they spend hours in the gym or hours training, and they keep doing it over and over and over again, or they're the first ones in their training facility and the last ones to leave, and everybody else is going home because they're wiped out, and this person's, dog tired, but they're still putting in the work and grinding. It's
Kobe.
because, the mama mentality is exactly what I'm
Yeah.
referring to. Is he was sharpening his mind to get through the worst case scenario, so that when it came to the battlefield, when he was in the midst of war, he had already been through, something that was mentally more challenging than he would face in the heat of battle, in an actual game. And so a lot of people don't that's why you see a lot of guys who have big muscles that are sissies nowadays. There's a ton of them.
Yeah.
A ton of them, just big muscles, and you're like,
Yeah.
dang, that guy's yoked. And you go up and talk to him, like, dang, put some bass in your voice, bro. like, come on, like, what is wrong with you? But it's because people are chasing vanity and appearances, and they think that is going to make them into this beast, right? But the only way, I think Eric Thomas says this a lot, the only way you become a beast is if you do what beasts do. Right? And so if you just go work out, right, but you're not putting your body through the mental, stress and mental challenge to fortify your mind and emotional state, then you're not becoming a beast. You're just becoming a really big sissy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you'll ultimately fall like Goliath. You'll be a giant, but you'll fall like Goliath. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the
People want
bigger
to skip
issues in
steps.
our society.
1,000.
They want to
Yeah,
skip
so
all
now
those
this
steps.
now this lady put out a justification video a day later, kind of just trying to explain herself. So we're gonna get into this before we wrap up, and then we will ultimately answer: does God want women to have a BBL?
I knew not everyone would be happy. I knew not everyone would be happy.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we're not watching that. But anyway, so she basically says, I knew not everyone would be happy, and that she titled her video specifically to get judgmental Christians from following her, essentially, which doesn't make any sort of sense,
But
right?
yeah.
But she goes on to say, I knew it would get the internet talking, right? And so, I mean, from a pure viral point perspective, that was a genius thing to title your video Christian BBL, because it was going to get people, talking. And as a YouTuber and a content creator, that's one of the biggest challenges, is like, well, how do I title this video so that I can get clicks, but that isn't too far away from the actual core message of the video? Because if it's too far away and those things aren't congruent, then people will be like, oh, this is clickbaity. Like, I thought I was clicking for this, and this isn't what the video is actually about.
But I feel like that title does more harm than good, because if there's like a new believer or a new Christian, but they're so used to watching BD content or BD vloggers, and they come across her video, they're like, oh, she's Christian. I guess it's okay for me to get a BBL. I guess God's good with it. Okay, I think I'm going to alter my body too. I feel like that is just very deceiving, and that is something of the devil. Like,
Yeah.
not calling her the devil,
I
but
agree
like,
with you.
just saying.
1,000%, King.
No, yeah, I think it's very, like you said, I think it's disingenuous, and I think she did it for the views and for the clicks, and just in her demeanor and the manner in which she presented herself in both those videos, I think it shows that she wasn't necessarily trying to represent being a Christian and following and being a believer in God, even though she kind of threw it in there, right? And said, oh, no, God knows that you're going to sin. That's one of the things she says. Like, well, God knows that we're all going to sin, but he loves you. And it's like, yeah, that's justification. Like, imagine if your parents, or imagine if she would be the type of person to like be with her friends, and the parents are like, hey, like, make sure y'all are in the house by this point and don't go here. And then the parent walks away, you say, okay. And as soon as they walk away, she turns to her friend and says, yeah, we're not coming home until way after the time that they said, and we're definitely going to the place that she told us not to go. Like, that's the type of attitude. Like, there's just no respect or reverence for authority. And then she's saying that I'm Christian, which means that God and Christ is your authority in your life, but then you don't follow any of the principles at all. And you're not presenting yourself as a godly woman in that sense. And so that's the problem that we have with this video. And so does God want women to have a BBL? I mean, I think God wants you to be who you really are. Now, if you have desires where you want to change yourself and you don't take it too far to where your focus doesn't become on your, inner
Outward,
work,
yeah.
right, that God is doing inside of you, when that starts to be overshadowed by your lust to look good and your pride, then that's when I think it gets problematic. But ultimately, I
I got
think
a question
natural
for
is
everyone.
better. Go ahead.
No, I got a question for everybody. So, do you all think that people ought to, instead of labeling themselves, because I feel like a lot of people label themselves as the Christian, is because, like the United States, it seemed as it was kind of built on Christian foundations or morals, but I truly think that they are just more like fans of the some of the Christian beliefs and say, hey, I can attach myself to this
Mm.
because I know that there's a certain protection with this. And like when I say fans, I mean, it's an acronym that I think I sent you all the other
Right.
day. It's
Yeah.
falsehood, a miss, what it's nurtured falsehoods, nurtured beliefs or whatever. And so, like, I think that it's like, hey, well, this person is a Christian and they do whatever they want to do because they don't have that servitude towards God. They don't, you know, they pretty much can do what they want. And like, I see that with a whole bunch of college commitments, like, hey, with further talks with God and praying with my family, I
Mm.
decided that this school is going to be the best for me. And I'm like, none of y'all ain't talking to God. Let's be real. You got everybody following this little pattern of, hey, well, I can label myself this, and nobody is not going to pull my card, or we don't have no identification saying, hey, this really, they are Christian, they're not just a fan.
Right. Well, I think
I mean,
people always want to be attached to something to where their reputation is perceived as them being a good person. That's why you hear people always saying like, "Oh, but I know I'm a good person," right? Even when they've done, something mischievous. And so the easiest way to do that is to attach yourself to an organization where you would be perceived as a good person. So that's why you always see people like, "Oh, no, yeah, I talk to God, like I believe," or, yeah, I, me and Jesus were cool, So you'll often see people placate to that because they want they want to be perceived as a good person, and they think as a basically as a proxy to saying they believe that they'll be perceived as a good person automatically, even though their fruit is bare, or there is no fruit there. Their tree is bare. And so they're not necessarily producing good fruit. Then it's like, well, okay, you can say this, but are you actually walking the walk? Right?
Yeah, I think that people do it for cultural reasons, like how you were saying, because it's the United States and it's founded on Christian foundations and things like that. And I also think it's because, like, most of us have grown up with parents that claimed they were Christians also and, like, going to church, but not seriously going to church or not seriously reading the word. So people just kind of, like, pass down the word that we're Christians when really they're not Christians because we don't understand, we don't have biblical literacy. So I feel like that's what it is, because even like for me, like I was baptized when I was like 10 because I genuinely believe that Jesus died on the cross for our sins and he's our Lord and Savior. But from 10 to college and going through college, I really had no understanding of what it really meant to be a Christian. So I think people might have like that little foundation of like what it means to be a Christian, but they don't really know how to live out what means to be a Christian. So I think
Yeah.
that could be.
I think that biblical literacy is a big thing too.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have, biblical literacy and you're not attuned to the foundation and the principles that are the guiding forces of Christianity, well, then you just take these themes and then you run with them. Like, only God can
yeah.
judge me, which
Or-
isn't really even in the Bible.
Or you're only given things that you're only given things that you can handle. Like, God only gives you things that he knows you can
Right.
handle.
Right,
Which
right.
that is not
Right.
biblical.
Nah, not true. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, our cousin pastor, who's going to be coming down in a couple weeks, so maybe we'll have him on the show. But
Hey,
he said something because he made an athlete reference today, and it was, I could obviously identify with it being an athlete all of my life, but he was saying how athletes push their bodies and their mental strength to the brink, and they continually push it during training so that when it comes time for the game, that they've already seen everything that they could possibly see. They're already ready for the moment. And he says that's a lot like what God does. He's stretching you and he is preparing you when you go through things in life so that when it comes down to like really big decisions and really life-altering moments, you're already prepared for it because you've already been through that and you've come out on the other side bigger and better for it, so long as you keep the faith. But a lot of times people will go through, a trial and go through a tribulation, and then they'll be like, man, where was God? He was just supposed to take care of everything for me, which is another cliche.
Yep.
Which all leads back to like, well, let's start thinking, let's get into our Bibles and think about like, we're overcomers, right? We're not these people who just already inherit, heaven and everything's supposed to be rosy and peachy, right? We're overcomers because there's a lot of things to overcome in life, regardless of your socioeconomic background, how you grow up. There's always things that are going to be placed in your life because you're always dealing with imperfect people. You're dealing with a world that doesn't care about your feelings. So things that you want to happen may or may not happen, right? You may want it to be sunny so that you could go out and, get a good bike ride in or exercise. And then the weather's like, nah, it's going to rain. And the weatherman's always wrong. So you thought it was going to be sunny and 75. Well, sorry to tell you, it's 68 and rainy. He was wrong again. And so,
sorry to
there's,
tell you, buddy.
yeah. And so there's just things in life that are always going to come up. And you could always look at them as, roadblocks where it's the end of the road and you got to turn around and head the other way, which means that you lost your faith. Or you can look at it as a speed bump where it's like, okay, I'm just a little bump in the road. I had to slow down a little bit, but I'm still keeping the faith and I'm still moving forward because God's got me. There's something bigger and better that is going to come as a result of this. I'm able to get to the highway where I'm able to fly, really able to open up this engine that God's put inside of me. So, yeah, people just gotta be mindful of it. So, yeah, but she went on a knife for Jesus.
Wait, Miracle has to answer the question.
Oh yeah, she sure does. Go ahead, Miracle.
What question? Which one?
Alan's
Is there-
question.
I forgot that question. What was your question?
Basically, do you think people are more fans, than Christians or whatever? So, like, basically, the
Oh.
falsehood amidst nurtured beliefs.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's
Yeah.
what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Honestly, y'all kind of said everything, but yes. I think I think it's a dangerous game we play a lot because the whole point of Jesus wanting us to be a light on earth is so people can see that light and essentially allow us to help those people get to Jesus by way of us just living our lives. And so it's a bit disingenuous for the influencer, I don't know her name, to say that she wants people to look up to her for one thing, but not another. When your entire life is supposed to be a reflection of what you stand for and what you believe, and if it's not clickbait and it is a Christian BBL, you're going to have to be held accountable for that. If not in heaven, definitely on earth, because you will get a response, and you did, which is why you essentially why you essentially felt the need to put out another video the next day. So, yeah, absolutely. There's some fans out here.
Yeah, every action has a reaction. That is for sure. That is for sure. So, she went into the night for Jesus. That is what we think. We want to know what you think. When we come back, we're going to be talking about Kirk Franklin. He gets real by the dangers of social media. When we come back. Fight for the algorithm. Amen.
It's back.
I know. You gonna talk?
It's on them.
Oh.
Hey!
Like for the algorithm. Just like for the algorithm. Welcome
Like
back
for the
to the
algorithm,
Weekly
guys.
Tea.
We back like we never left.
Had to fix something really quick. But it'll just, you gotta have some faith, girl. We were just talking about that. We were just talking about that.
Exactly.
We got the whole gang
Faith
today,
of a
though.
mustard seed, Kenya.
Ooh, that's a little bit. You just need a little bit, and you can do great things. You can do great
It
things.
can move mountains.
He can move mountains and molehills, or whatever that say it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kirk and Shannon get real about just what social media is and the dichotomy of it, and we are going to dive into that now.
How different do you think your life or our lives would be as a whole if there was no social media?
I think that it's the dichotomy of social media. I think that it's the yin and the yang, because it has done also a lot of good. It has brought a high level of connectivity, but at the same time, the exposure to judging and the opinions that are freely given by those that don't have any knowledge at times of the level of commentary that they try to commit to or to contribute to has also made it very problematic for individuals. There's a lot of shaming that happens on different platforms, and so I think that it's almost, if I can be honest, I think that even the conversation is sometimes a mute conversation because it ain't going nowhere.
Right.
We just have to try to be intentional about how we monitor our own souls and our own mental health in these spaces, because the space is just going to continue to grow, and the voices and the opinions of others are just going to continue to grow as well.
Yeah. Quality. That was Kirk Franklin, kind of on the dichotomy.
Doesn't sound on.
Yeah, okay. Thought it was me.
Test.
Testing, 1, 2, testing.
I hear Kenya fine.
Test. Okay, there we go. I don't know what happened.
There we go.
So hopefully it's not about to die or something. But anyway, yeah. So that was Kirk Franklin on the that dichotomy of social media. But he kind of only gets into the one aspect of it, to where people are, giving commentary, like we're giving commentary on this, but they do it in a disingenuous way. They're not really thoughtful about their commentary. They don't really do research. They're just commenting to comment, or they have
Yeah, I was about to die.
or they have a personal.
What?
Oh yeah, I can't.
I didn't have anything to say. Okay, so he was saying pretty much like the dichotomy of social media and how there's good to it and bad to it. And I think I would agree with him, like, when it comes to like the bad parts of social media is like just the judging. And well, I don't really care about that part, but the part that comes with the bad parts of social media would be comparison. I feel like that would be the big thing, especially for women, is like seeing how other people's lives are being lived, seeing how people look, seeing how, oh, well, this girl looks like this and she gets this many likes and she does this to get views and things like that. So maybe I need to do these things to get views and likes also. So I feel like that can be where social media is problematic. But I agree with what he said about the good side of social media, which is the connectivity and being able to build communities from across the world, like anywhere. I think that's a really cool part, personally. What do you guys think?
Well, I definitely agree with that. I mean, social media kind of opens up an entirely new world, and Alan and I were just talking about this, how in the real world you have social rules for how you conduct with each other and how you communicate with each other, like, basically having universal manners. And so, like opening doors for people, saying thank you, and things are given to you, stuff like that. And so a lot of people tend to say that social media isn't real, but because it is an entirely new world that we spend about 50% of our time on, there should be decorum that we use when we conduct with each other and when we interact with each other. And so I get what he's saying about the judging. I don't really care about that part either, but I'm trying to look at it from his perspective in the sense of who he is as a person. And I can see that he's maybe projecting some of his experiences that he's had with social media of, people basically trying to holier than thou him in his situations where he fell short as a human being.
Rather than
but
extending him grace.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I will also say there is a responsibility that comes with it as well. People like to forget that part because with social media, you are how you conduct yourself on social media, just like you are every day in real life. I mean, what you put out there is what people, whatever their perspective is their perspective. But
It's a counter reaction with every action. So if you throw something out there, go ahead.
Well, yeah, it's open for scrutiny if you put it on the internet.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
you can,
And that's what people don't want.
Yeah.
And so they want the positive attention, but they don't want the negative attention. Now, sometimes it's unwarranted. Absolutely. And there's trolls on the internet. There's people who comment spiteful things just because of who you are and because they just don't like you, which is obviously, I think that's what he was more alluding to in the clip, where there's just all these people who have these commentary pages as almost like vendettas against certain types of people or certain groups of people
who are bored.
And that's unnecessary and unwarranted, right? But on the flip side of that, we should be having thoughtful commentary and dialogue, because that's going to make us better. That is the whole idea behind iron. As iron sharpens iron, so does another man sharpen another. And so you can give your perspective, or you can even do something like misstep, fall short somewhere. Well, that's a teaching lesson for everybody, right? And so you can learn by doing, but you can also learn by observing and looking at, other people's successes or failures. And if you have a discussion about it, then you know how to properly go about navigating that situation if it were to come up in your life. And so, I mean, that's why we're talking about the BBL girl in the last segment. It's not to demean her, but it's to push this conversation of like, well, let's think about like this whole plastic surgery epidemic that's kind of taking place, really kind of a pandemic in the Western world, well, epidemic in the Western world, I guess, that's taking place because I'm not sure if it's serving people as much as it's harming them. And so that's what it ultimately comes down to. Like, is this going to help people, flourish and become more Christ-like in their manner, or is it doing the antithesis of that? And so that's why we have to have discussion, and that's why we should have discussion, but it should be thoughtful and it should be done with an earnest heart and with charity extended, like with a charitable heart, meaning that you're doing it with good intentions to, drive the conversation forward rather than to condemn people and pull them down for, whatever they've done. But also you can prop people up in the same manner on the flip side of that too much and inflate their ego, or they become an idol in your life to where it's does the same thing where it's not serving you, it's actually harming you, but in a reverse way, because when that idol inevitably falls short or basically lets you down, well then now your world's crumbled. Now you don't even know how to proceed forward because it's like, oh, I thought, how could they do this to me? I thought they were, this perfect person. It's like, oh, nobody's perfect. That's what they'll say. But it's like, well, yeah, we all know that. You shouldn't have idolized them. Like, of course, revere them and hold them up for the good things that they do. But also understand that, everybody's kind of human. They're not going to always articulate themselves in the best manner or articulate their thoughts in the most comprehensive way. But you should always, just proceed with, grace. Take the good with the bad. Take everything kind of with a grain of salt, as they say.
Thank you, folks.
Disappointed.
Yep.
Yeah. Does anybody else have anything to add? All right. Well, that was Kirk Franklin. He was talking to Shannon Sharp on Club Shay Shay. So great interview. Go and check that out. Those are our thoughts. We would love to know your thoughts. Leave them down in the comments below. When we get back, we're going to do our last segment. Southwest says fat people can fly for free. Don't miss it. Right here on Quality Entertainment.
Like with algorithm.
About that knee drop.
We're going to work through this track meet in Birmingham, get ready for the Nationals, and hope to put in a good performance.
Just making sure she pushes out of both legs out of the blocks and not just relying on one leg. Let's go do it.
What is up, quality people? We are back. The weekly tea is here. Got the whole gang in the house. Now, Southwest says that fat people can fly for free. Make sure that you.
Why are you saying it like that?
Because
That's what it is.
They said that they could
It is
fly.
what it is,
Not,
though.
not,
Really?
not completely free. They got to buy a ticket, but it's not. They
don't
don't
have
have
to
to buy
seat.
an extra seat, but they can take up an extra seat and even take a seat away from another paying customer. I mean, it's a crazy saga that we're about to endure here. Before we get into that, we have a comment from another quality person. Amani's in the house. Says too much of anything can be toxic. You ain't never lied.
Hey, Imani.
I love that. Thank you for tuning in, Imani. We greatly appreciate it. Now, let's get into this. There was a New York Post article that basically says that, Southwest has a policy that they're now enforcing because of, I guess, this TikTok solo vlogger, and I guess it represents the fat community. This is basically like, hey, Southwest will let you just, you just go up and talk to the person at the counter, and they'll basically, if your body dips over into the other seat, then they'll accommodate you with, I forgot what they call it, plus size policy or something like that, by letting you have an extra seat for free. And even if you buy an extra seat and you want to activate this policy, then they'll refund you your money back. Now, I have insider information because my dad's a pilot. Now, he's a pilot for another airline, but he's like, Southwest ain't doing too well. They have countless lawsuits. Their pilots are, I don't think their pilots are too happy with how things are being conducted. And now they got this, where it seems like, this doesn't seem like a very good business model. So
It kind of sounds like what we were just listening to with Patrick Bet-David, and he was like, you should choose your enemies wisely. And it sounds like Southwest is choosing their enemies incorrectly, which is the paying customers that they're taking seats away from.
Yes. Ooh,
Very
that's
good
a
point.
that's a good point. Come on,
no,
with
that's a very good point. I like that, man. Yeah, that was a quality take there. But yeah, it seems like this wouldn't be of the best service. Now, a lot of these people in this, the TikTokers in the plus size community will say like, hey, the airliners need to, basically widen the aisles, and, the seats need to become bigger. And I was telling my dad, and he was like, that's ridiculous, because these airplanes are made specifically, like, everything's in place for a reason. Like, that's why you bring in a mechanic, and people go through like
engineers.
these, and the engineers to know, like, hey, like, all right, the average weight of a person is this. Let's see if we can get this many seats in here. Like, what does this logistically look like for traveling people? Now to just completely change your design to accommodate a specific group of people that are probably a small minority of all the people that are traveling, just to make them feel better, is asinine. It's just crazy.
That's the problem.
Yeah. And that's the problem. And especially when it's something that you generally can control. Now, if you got a health issue, I can see, like, okay, yeah, I can see that we can make a way, we can make some accommodations for you. Absolutely, especially if you, but then you get into the situation where people can, fake, health issues or whatever, or just say that they have a health issue when they really don't. Just like everybody in the military is disabled somehow. So, it's like everybody's at like 85, 100% disability. And I was like, bro, you were just at the pickleball course for 5 hours. Like, I played with you for 5 hours and you have a handicap sticker. Like, that's crazy. So, it does get a little dicey when it comes to that. But I would be all for like making accommodations for people who do have actual health issues, and they aren't just big just because they did that to themselves. They were overindulgent and they're unhealthy. right? I think that's a disservice to, all the people who, work hard, they pay for their airline ticket, and,
Yeah.
this is, I mean, because we're all going through the same thing. You know what I mean? And so let's get into this article really quickly, though.
Shocked at what American high school.
So it says plus size TikTokers are praising Southwest Airlines for its customer of size policy, which allows overweight passengers to request a complimentary seat and forces the flight staff to accommodate larger flyers, even if that means kicking others with tickets off the flight. Now that's just crazy, like I was mentioning before. Under the Texas-based airlines policy, that was worded weird. Customers whose bodies encroach past the armrest are entitled to an extra seat at no additional cost. Now, I believe that's the words from the policy. That sounds wild. That sounds wild. What do you guys think of just that?
The entitled words.
It's amazing to me.
Amazing. How so?
How are it?
That's my boy Ty. He said, "Hold up now. I'm going to buy a fat suit because who won the free?" He was like, "Yeah,
Can't you just identify
as a person that's overweight."
Yeah, you certainly can. I identify as my body moving past the armrest, so therefore I need an extra seat. That's it.
Now
But
here's
my
the
thing is,
go ahead. No, go ahead, Miracle. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna say, it's amazing how they're essentially making most of their customers responsible for the minority of such a small customer base that I'm sure it makes me wonder who did the numbers on this thing and who said this is a great idea and they'll make a profit from this and they'll essentially benefit from it. What'd you say, Kenya?
I said DEI, diversity and inclusion.
Yes.
That group.
Oh my God.
Well,
oh my God.
I'll tell you this. So Southwest is known as the love company. So we fly Southwest when I travel. I have a bunch of points that I accumulated from last year. I'd gone on a Southwest trip in 3 weeks, and overall they're pretty solid. But say for if the staff came up to me and was like, "Yeah, we got to make accommodations for this plus size flyer," and they came up to me, who is traveling for business so that I could film World War II vets and we're on a strict schedule, and they're like, "No, you gotta get over your seat." It's like, no, that's throwing off my whole schedule that we have paid tickets for. That is absolutely, that's crazy, right? Now, if anything, they should make the plus size flyer get onto another flight where that's not as full if they want to do it, not kick somebody else off that already has a seat just because the flight is full, right? And if they were going to make proper accommodations, because then,
or they need to buy 2 extra seats.
Or they need to buy 2 extra seats. But yeah, I mean, I agree, they need to buy 2 extra seats. But if they were going down this rabbit hole, like, it's just crazy that they would kick off somebody who's got plans, obviously, on this flight for a specific reason, because they have to be somewhere, just like that plus size flyer. And then you're going to treat this person, you're basically going to give them a special privilege over that person just because of the choices that they made in their life, right? It is something that they can control. Like if it was race and discrimination, well, that's one thing. It's like, oh, you can't control race. Like, why would you prefer this person over that person? That makes absolutely no sense. But when it comes down to something that you can control, now this is omitting that you have any, actual health issues that are preventing you from being able to stand in, good health, then like it's just crazy that this would be the case, that they would kick somebody, just a hardworking American, off that paid for their ticket. So, I mean, let's get back into some more of this. It says that passengers have the option of purchasing just one seat and then discussing your seat needs with the customer service agent at the departure gate. If it's determined that a second or even a third seat is needed, you'll be accommodated with a complimentary additional seat. So,
A
I mean,
third?
that's crazy. What's crazy is they will provide a complimentary seat for, a plus size person, but there's been several instances where my bags were 1 pound over, and I had to sit there at the counter and take out a pound or 2 pounds of stuff out of my bag at the Southwest checkout counter. And I'm happy to do it because that's the rule. And it's like, I'm not going to, it's either that or you pay an additional $50. Go figure, right? Right. But if they're, just a little bit into the seat rest, they can request a whole extra seat at no cost. And so that's where it's like really problematic, especially since I have personal, history with having to, all right, let me take this out of this bag that's on the scale and put it into this one, because I'm checking so much gear when I'm traveling through these airports, because we're actually traveling with a full production so that we can, provide the highest quality documentaries that we can provide. And so it's just crazy that that's even allowed.
Yeah, it's sad that we people expect us to accommodate to them and essentially bend to the needs of whatever they have. They expect the world to bend to them instead of them basically trying to fit into the world.
No, absolutely. The flight team will then look at the seating arrangements, which are not predetermined on Southwest flights, and would potentially move other passengers around for the unplanned accommodation. So basically, like on Southwest, you don't have assigned seats. You board in groups, and then you can sit wherever you want. And so I'm assuming if this person was a plus size flyer and then they went and activated this policy, that they would basically just get to board first, even if their boarding was like C. So you board in A, B, and C. Even if they're boarding with C, which generally means you probably paid a little bit less for a ticket, they would be able to board first so that they can be accommodated, which is another problem as well. So they're probably they could potentially pay for a cheaper ticket, knowing that they could just activate this policy and nobody's going to be able to sit next to them anyway, because you'll often pay an upcharge to board earlier so you can get a prime seat, or you can sit exclusively with the people that you're traveling with, because sometimes you get broken up on Southwest flights, and then you end up either, maybe two people only get to sit with each other because, you were only able to, like, there was already a person in a seat or something like that. But it's crazy that they make you upcharge to board early, but then give special privileges to somebody, again, who, quite frankly, isn't deserving of it, just based on their lifestyle. All right, so let's finish up. This Southwest, though, suggests customers purchase the extra seat in advance and then contact the airline for a refund of the cost of an additional seating after travel. The purchase of additional seats serves as a notification of a special seating need and allows us to adequately plan for the number of occupied seats on board. It also helps us ensure we can accommodate all customers on the flight for which they purchased a ticket, and avoid asking customers to relinquish their seats for unplanned accommodation. So they're basically like, please purchase an additional ticket so that you can make it easier on us. But what would make it easier on you is if everybody just paid what they owed, essentially.
Simple.
And without having to activate a policy. I have a feeling, just based on some of the information that I was given, that Southwest isn't, unless they do something, they're not headed for a very profitable year. They're probably going to end up getting bought out by a bigger airliner, because they're really just they only do domestic flights. Really, they do some international flights to maybe like Jamaica or some places in Mexico, but for the most part they're only domestic. So they're like a low cost domestic flyer. But they're just better than like Spirit and Frontier and all them.
not profitable.
This is what this is what happens when you have no true foundation and just basically being a gopher and going for anything. Anything goes, and like um, this is what. So this is a byproduct of what America is seeing. We are just allowing the floodgates open on any and everything, no matter if it sounds outlandish, no matter if it goes against principles and foundations that that should be put in place by knowledgeable, people. To be honest, it's not much more to say, but to me, it's very ignorant and irresponsible on the decision makers. Not fat shaming at all. I have, uh, not not definitely doing that at all. Thing is, it's like should because we are, of a different descent. Well, I should be able to get a whole free seat and then just let Miracle sit in the seat or whatever because I'm skinny or whatever. Like like
Yeah.
it's
They're gonna start making
because
us
it's
sit in
like
half
okay,
seats because we're skinny.
Yeah, exactly.
exactly. It's like what's good for the good should be good, So
Yeah. Your friend Ty weighs in again. He says social media is a powerful influence tool. Southwest is being bullied by social media. Yeah.
I see that a lot.
I like that. And so they're bending
and
their
that's a
knee
reflection once again.
Yeah. They're
They
bending.
soft. I mean,
Yeah.
Southwest. Yeah,
No,
people,
yeah.
people
You're
soft.
right.
Guarantee it. You talk to some older cats or whatever. It's like people used to talk about us all the time, and we ain't breaking down with depression. Oh, because you may be you are. You are ugly. I mean, not that, but just slip out.
Oh, you
Just
ain't
slip
never
out.
lied.
But
You ain't never lied.
but
Tell
like
him.
okay, this was like a few years ago at Planet Fitness. I was so shocked that on Wednesdays they would have pizza day.
I know it's crazy.
Pizza and then you all
Wait, at
already
Planet
know.
Fitness?
Yes,
I don't think they do that anymore.
They were
I don't know.
They were ordering
No.
pizzas? Oh, so no, that's a good business strategy. No, because let's keep these people fat so that they keep their membership.
Yeah,
Just makes sense.
their whole brand is a no judgment zone, and that's the problem. No, judge me
I'm
because I
surprised they
want to
didn't
be
give you
better.
cake
I'm
either.
feeling judged in there.
Yeah, Miracle, Miracle,
judged.
her little feelings
Her
get
little
hurt. I was like,
feelings.
hey, you not doing this exercise right. Well, I was like, look, girl, I was a whole SEC athlete. I know what I'm doing.
That's hilarious.
Um, I would go and Planet Fitness and I would feel judged by other women who would look at me and maybe, I don't know, maybe there was a sense of jealousy there or a sense
Self-conscious,
of,
yeah.
whatever. And so I've had, I think you were there actually. There was like a woman that stole my machine and she was like staring at me like for a minute. Yeah, it was kind of rude because she saw me about to use the machine and she got on it and didn't even say, "Hey, are you about to use this?"
So she was scared.
Jeez.
The lady, she didn't want to get
I
beat
think
up.
you were there.
She didn't want to get beat up, but it's okay. See, sometimes in the gym, stuff like that happens. Some people be on a mission, and some people just be lollygagging like, "Oh,
Yeah.
But and then you got some people like, look, it's been time and like, man.
All
But
right,
It's
we lost you
interest
for a
in
second.
culture.
We lost you for a second. I think y'all
Oh,
are
no.
back now. No, y'all are
Oh
good.
no, are
Y'all
we
are
back?
good.
Okay.
Yeah, y'all are good.
Okay.
But anyways, I wanna get into this. Why are people nowadays so fat? Like why is Americans getting fatter? And there's a doctor that I follow. He's basically on a mission to find the best diet for humans, essentially. And he put out an interesting short the other day that I think we need to, that ties into, this whole issue. Let me get to that really quick.
How shocked at what American high school gym class looked like in the 1960s. This footage is from one of the 4,000 U.S. high schools that followed La Sierra's physical education program that was pushed to be the standard model by JFK.
Hold up.
That was PE back in the day.
That's crazy.
That they were climbing jump ropes. Now they go outside and they're like, hey, walk the track.
Yeah.
Yup.
But they were actually putting in work because they understood the health ramifications that you needed to be in peak physical condition, because that was the healthiest thing for you. That was something that was good. That was a value that the society had back then. But now we're in such a consumerist and a culture that overindulges on everything, to where it is inevitable that we're just going to keep getting larger, especially when people are going to be pushing more products down our throats, and people just don't have self-control at the end of the day. That's what it boils down to.
It is a shocking sight to see how seriously fitness and health were being taken in the 1960s.
These kids are fit. What's changed? I mean, you can see this on pictures of people on the beach in 1960s. You can.
Hold up.
Did you see those people on the beach?
Man, they look good.
Yes.
They look
Jeez.
good.
Yeah.
They look good.
Every single one of them would be an Instagram model nowadays.
Yes.
Every single one of them. That was wild.
We could all do it.
And guess what? It's all natural.
All
No
natural.
period.
Yeah.
Yep.
No BBLs in the making of this film.
Because they didn't even have that as a thought. They was like, look, I got to go to the gym and
Well,
get
they already
snatched
looked
up.
good. They were already
Yeah.
proud of themselves because they had already put in the work. Like they felt
Yep.
good about themselves because they were going through the process every day of feeling good, because they were, taking their fitness seriously. And when you actually put in the work and, go to the gym and you work out, you feel good about yourself afterwards. Now, getting to the gym sometimes, or getting up and going to do a workout, that could be the challenging part. But after that workout, and a lot of times even during the
You feel
workout,
good.
you're like, man, I feel good about myself. And if people would just get up and really just even start moving around until it develops into a routine of, more intensive exercise, I think a lot more people would just, one, it would cure depression by a lot, just because our lifestyle is so sedentary nowadays. But then two, people would just be generally healthier. And I don't think we would, we wouldn't be as large as we are.
You see this in pictures of people lined up for Star Wars movies in the 1970s. Americans have gotten so much fatter. Today, 60% of the food we eat is ultra-processed food as Americans, and 70+% of Americans are overweight and obese. But the way to escape this is very clear. Get rid of ultra-processed foods, anything with seed oils, processed grains, high fructose corn syrup, get it out of your life. Focus on real whole foods. You will thrive, you'll be so much better, and you and your children will actually begin to look like the kids in this video again. It's not impossible, and it's an amazing reminder.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so
I don't think we like hearing these simple answers because we live in such a victim culture mentality. And so, victim mentality culture. And because of that, when I hear people say, well, yeah, all you have to do, maybe you'll feel a lot better. You probably won't have that anxiety or that depression, and you'll lose a little weight. You'll ultimately just feel a lot better about yourself if you go work out. But then you have the person on the other side of that saying, well, it's not that simple. It's not that easy. It may work for you, but it doesn't work for me. Then you got people co-signing it like, yeah, exactly. Not everyone is you. Not everyone can handle your diet. Not everyone can do this. And I'm like, but if you guys would just maybe take this advice and try it and look at the research behind it, you would know that after one workout, you'll feel so much better about just your overall sense of self. And then you're like, you know what? I'll try it again. Let me try it again and again and again. Oh, wow. I haven't felt depressed in a couple of days because I've actually been working on myself.
Yeah.
I think this. Go ahead.
I was just going to say,
Go ahead, King.
Yeah, if people just did like 30 minutes of movement every day, it doesn't even have to be like going to the gym and lifting heavy weights or anything. But like go for a walk or just go ride a bike or do something, some kind of movement every day, I feel like would be a game changer for a lot of people.
I'm gonna say this. I think what all of this kind of summarizes is just acceptance. People want things just because. I mean, they don't even have the. I would say the credentials for certain things. Like, okay, well, we're going to accept you for you being a little bit irresponsible with your health, and also other people is because, like, I think I saw something online. It just popped up. It was like it was these ladies that were about body positivity for these ladies who were severely, ladies and men who were severely overweight, like 400 to 600 pounds. And they was like, yes, body positivity. And she went through like 7 to 10 different people, and each video she's like, yeah, this person, they died, they like, yeah, it's
Yeah, Blair. Yeah.
yeah, it was very, very, kind of eye opening. And to be honest, if we want to be honest with ourselves, whether it's us, like people who are even skinny are obese. So like that's a whole conversation in itself. So it's just so people won't just think that we're like fat shaming or whatever. But I don't want to be accepted in anything that I haven't put the work towards. I don't want to just get a participation trophy. I've never been that person. If I didn't do well, I didn't do well. Or and so I don't think that we should get any type of I call it a complimentary, or not even a complimentary, or like get this catbird seat, as what the old people would say, get the catbird seat because I'm overweight. No. So
I don't know what that means, but it sounded good. So
yeah. So the catbird seat is like, hey, you're getting like something additional for you, like let's say for instance, if a person is handicapped, they get the catbird seat of going first out of the elevator.
Okay.
So like
Gotcha.
like stuff like that.
Oh, so like the fat people in Southwest.
Exactly.
Right.
No, I mean that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes complete sense. So that just came full circle, and those are our thoughts. We would love to know what you think about this. So please leave it down in the comments below. When we get back, we'll be covering our last segment. Oh wait, no, that was our last segment.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
hold up. Wait a
Peace out,
minute.
people.
That was our last segment. I thought we had one more. I don't know
Yes.
why I thought we had one more. Hold on. So let me get to this then.
We usually have more, I think. That's probably why.
Yeah, we do usually have more. So we're at 768 subs. So that is big time. Our next podcast is to be determined. Actually, I am texting Natalie now. She was supposed to come on last week. I think we're going to do it on Tuesday. So we should have a profitable conversation with Miss Natalie Harris on Tuesday. So look forward to that. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So make sure that you are sharing this with your friends and your family. We want to thank everybody who tuned in today. Your presence and everybody who commented. We greatly appreciate all the love and all the support that you have given us. And we hit 5,000 watch hours this past, 3 days ago? So thank you for everybody who helped in doing that, because we did that, we hit one of the goals for monetization, which is 4,000 hours of watch time. And so now all that's left is 1,000 subscribers, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
we
We got to get there.
Yeah, we hit our watch time. Now we just got to get to 200 some odd subscribers left to go. So just make sure you're sharing this with your friends and family, and then we'll be able to, monetize this and take it one step closer to building this thing of ours out in the proper way. Yay. So one more time, here is the schedule. Monday, well, it's not going to be Monday, it's going to be Tuesday. Monday, have a very Merry Christmas. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to today's show. And do y'all have any final words before we sign off?
We had a great year. See y'all in 2024. Bye.
See you in 2024.
2024.
Happy New Year.
Fight for